Chapter 228 has the title Unruly Brat, and obviously the title is related to Baru and his attitude. In the previous chapter we could already see that Baru is going to change once again and go back to his old self, the one that is uncontrollable. So therefore there are a few fans who now say that Baru hasn't really evolved and actually declined his development, and then there are fans who are happy to see Baru sticking to his true ideals. And personally I think that this can't just be seen from a black and white perspective, and I will elaborate on this later during the video. So the chapter begins with Baru, who is in possession of the ball, and we can see Izagi and Kaiser who are trying to steal it from Baru together. And the fact that Kaiser and Izagi, who are currently besides Noah Basset Munich's strongest players by far, and who got Meta Vision unlike Baru who just has the Predator's Eye, shows how strong Baru really is. And Baru has always been the best when it comes to him being in a spot, in a position, where he's able to just rush through the enemy's defense. Because Baru is a player that has his strengths in dribbling, combined with his pace and his physique, which makes Baru by far the most dynamic striker of all the Blue Lock strikers when it comes to pure individual skill, like physical skills, which doesn't involve game intelligence, game awareness, pure finishing skills, abilities as a holding 9 or abilities as a target man. Baru for sure is the best striker in Blue Lock. And this is also a reason why Baru on the one hand kind of works as a striker for Ubers and Snuffy's way of playing football, but also doesn't work on the other hand. Baru's strengths, the ones that I just mentioned, make him the perfect all-rounder for a system, or better say a design, that Snuffy is chasing. So what I mean by that is that usually Baru should be able to just adjust to every kind of tactic that Snuffy has in his head, especially since Uber's got players like Nico, Sendu or Aiku who fit in perfectly into the system and act as Snuffy's and also Baru's pawns. But on the other hand, obviously Baru isn't quite suited for this type of system, and Baru has always been better on the ball and isn't a player who is the best when it comes to off-ball movements. Shido, for example, is a way better classic number 9 than Baru, as Shido has a much better game awareness than Baru and is a striker who's waiting for his teammates to feed him with crosses and passes so he can score goals from all kind of angles. But Baru is different. Baru is a player who first of all plays by his own ideals, which means that he wants to be the ultimate egoist, the one who's in control of the game and who wants to score them completely by himself, and to be able to do that, Baru needs to be in possession of the ball. And Baru hates to be a striker that moves to the flow of the game, that does off-ball movement to create rooms for his team and be at the right spot at the right time like Shido does, for example. So as I just said, Baru is in possession of the ball and we can see him aiming between Kaiser and Izagi as he's planning to shoot on target and use the distraction and chaos that keeps happening in front of Gagamaru, which is obviously also blocking his sight, making it different for him to see. So Kaiser and Izagi both work together automatically due to their use of Meta Vision and plan to block Baru's shot by blocking Baru's way on the near and also on the far post, which means that in Izagi's thoughts the only chance for Baru to land a shot on target is to go through the middle. And Baru knows that as well, and he knows that if he goes for a shot now, he won't be able to score a goal, which is why he's going for one of his trademark moves, the cut-in, to create much more space, which would allow him the opportunities to shoot and will also put him into the specific position that he loves to shoot from. By the way, Kaneshiro has hinted several times now that there's actually teamwork between Kaiser and Izagi. It just happens on a, let's say, indirect way. They both use their game awareness and Meta Vision to read each other's movements, which will help the team to react and take the right decision for the team, at least in defense. And I'm sure that this is already a hint to what we can expect to see in the last match of the Neo Egoist League, when Basset Munich will face PXG with Shido and Rin. As we know from the third selection, if you remember, Shido and Rin were at that time the best two strikers in Blue Lock and even played in the same team, but still the team actually was horrible and they struggled against the team of Otoya and Karazu, who had a great chemistry together and therefore caused the team a lot of problems. And I feel like Rin and Shido will put their differences aside in the upcoming match and work together in an indirect way, kinda like Kaiser and Izagi do at the moment. And what is super impressive now is the fact that Snuffy at this point is already moving in front of Noah. And this little detail is very important, because it might show us that Snuffy could already read at this point what kind of play Baru is going to do next and what Snuffy himself needs to do to be able to help Baru scoring a goal, and we will just see in some moments why and what is going to happen. So Snuffy keeps provoking Baru to shoot, and we can see Baru doing another cut-in to the right side, a body feint, And of course Isagi thinks that Baru is going for his typical angle shot into the top right corner, and Kaiser and Isagi both together try to block Baru's shot as they think that he's going for top ins, which is the reason why both do the same blocking motion. But Baru outplays them both by going for a shot between the legs of Isagi and Kaiser, which is also the reason why Gagamaru wasn't able to see the shot in time and therefore couldn't react to it. And now look at Snuffy and what he is doing. As I mentioned before, Snuffy positioned himself in front of Noah right before Baru was going for the cut-in, and Snuffy already knew that by positioning himself in front of Noah, he would be able to help Baru and do something. And right when Baru is shooting, Snuffy blocks the path of Noah, which is also the reason why Noah couldn't block Baru's shot in time. So in this moment you can for sure say that Snuffy even beat Noah and once again proved that his meta vision might be the strongest in the whole manga, at least for now. We don't know yet if Isagi or Rin will even develop a greater form of meta vision than Snuffy. So in the end Baru was able to score the 2-2 equalizer for Ubers and has now scored both goals for Ubers in this game. If I'm right, he also scored 3 goals in the second match before, which means that Baru has scored 5 goals in 2 games for Ubers now, which is an insane stat actually. And Baru's market value for sure will keep growing. After the third match of the New Eagles League, we should receive another market value update, and I wouldn't be surprised if Rin or Shido still surpass Baru's market value in the end to hype them up before the final match against Bayern Munich. So what is going to happen next in the next few chapters? Isagi still needs a partner who understands his place and is able to read his movements and thoughts. And currently besides Kaiser and Noah, there's only one player who would stand on Isagi's side and who is capable of reading his place. And this player is Hayori, who has been hyped up by Kaneshiro for several chapters now, and I'm pretty sure that Hayori kind of always has been one of Kaneshiro's favorite players, as he had a major role during the U20 match, although we haven't seen much of him before. And unlike Nanase, who together debuted with Hayori, Hayori already got his own background story, which is huge. I mean, even characters like Gagamaru, Raichi, Igaguri and so on didn't get their background story so far, and they are here since day one. So Hayori will obviously join the match as soon as possible, and as soon as Snuffy and Noah gotta leave the pitch, and Hayori will be the game changer and be to Isagi what Ness has been to Kaiser. Hayori is able to rebalance the game, and recently we have seen that Ubers mostly have been in possession of the ball, and we're pressuring Bayern Munich a lot, due to Hayori's skills, who is technically well gifted, and plays precise passes while reading the flow of the game at the same time. Isagi will be able to finally have someone on his side, kinda like Kaiser has Nas. And I'm very sure that Isagi will be the one who will score the decisive goal of this match, so Bayern Munich will win the match with a 3-2 victory over Ubers. Alright guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, stay safe and have a nice day.